Faster, Hannah! Run faster! Faster! Hitching the red chiffon of her dress up around her knees, Hannah sprinted as fast as she could down the road toward what she hoped was civilization. But her legs still ached from the 6-mile hike earlier, and she'd only choked down a few bites of food. She was exhausted, running on empty, and there was no way she would make it to safety before Jackson tracked her down. The jungle on the left side of the road was too thick for her to penetrate, and the shoreline to the right offered little to no cover. If she stayed on the road, it wasn't a matter of if Jackson would find her, but when. Unless she found a way to escape that he wouldn't suspect. With a quick glance over her shoulder to make sure no tall, terrifying men had appeared on the road, Hannah darted off the gravel and across the dunes toward the beach. The sand ended a few feet from the ocean, replaced by a line of jagged black rocks that seemed to grimace at the sea, daring it to take its best shot. The tide was low but fierce, slamming into the stones with a ferocity that made her shiver. If she didn't jump far enough or swim hard enough, she would be tossed back toward the shore and dashed to pieces on the rocks, long before Jackson or anyone else could find her. She was a strong swimmer, but she didn't know this stretch of shoreline. She didn't know the tide patterns or the reef nearby, or what kind of ocean life claimed this part of the island as their territory. Back home, she knew which beaches were her best bet for observing giant sea turtles, which were good for snorkeling or boogie boarding, and which to avoid because of dangerous riptides. Or sharks. There was a bay to the far north of the island where shark attacks were quadruple the number of anywhere else in the region. It was their feeding ground, and anyone with sense knew to stay out of the water. Even the tourists knew, their guidebooks containing strongly worded warnings about the likelihood of shark attack and grisly stories of the people who had lost their lives in the bay over the years. Looking out at the churning water, where sea foam frothed pink in the setting sun, Hannah couldn't see anything beneath the water, except occasional dark patches indicating coral formations. But that didn't mean there was nothing to see, and dusk was a dangerous time to swim. Sharks hunted from dusk until dawn, and as soon as she hit the water, she would be prey. You're already prey, fool. Hannah swallowed hard. Her inner voice was right. She was Jackson's prey, and she had no idea what he would do to her if he caught her. He might lock her in that cage she'd seen Adam carrying to the back of the house, or something worse. And at least with a shark, she knew how to fight back. Sharks preferred easy prey. If you managed to get a few solid punches into their nose and eyes, most would swim away, looking for a less feisty food source. Jackson, on the other hand, would take pleasure from overpowering her while she struggled, showing her who controlled her, body and soul. No, she said aloud, her hands fisting at her sides. She was in control now, and she had to stay that way. No matter how much a part of her wanted to believe that she could trust Jackson, she couldn't gamble her life on it. She made the choice to run, and now she had to see it through. Without letting herself think too much about the things lurking beneath the water, or the vicious crash of the waves as they pounded against the shore, Hannah towed off her sandals and unzipped her dress. The fabric fell to her feet, leaving her in nothing but her strapless bra and panties. It wasn't a swimsuit, but it would leave her body at least partially covered, so that she wouldn't have to approach a potential rescuer buck naked. The cool ocean breeze whispered across her skin, raising gooseflesh on her arms and legs as she picked her way across the dark rocks, getting as far from the shore as she could without being sucked into the waves. As she reached the outermost point, just before the rocks dropped away into deeper water, she exhaled long and slow, her fingers wiggling at her sides as she waited for the perfect moment.